Hello and welcome to Donington Park. It's the start of the 2021 British Motorsports season with the 750 Motor Club. We're here at the home of the club for the first meeting of the year, and that means it's the first round of the Tagawa Club Enduro Championship for 2021, and there's a huge grid. It's a capacity grid of 49 production sports and saloons. Let's find out what we'll be seeing over the course of the 2-hour race.
Welcome to the Club Enduro Championship, the UK's largest and most affordable race series for sports and saloon cars. 3 power-to-weight classes varying from 180 brake horsepower per tonne to 300 brake horsepower per tonne. Outputs enforced by 750 Motor Club's rolling road with a team of dedicated approved operators. Races are typically 2 to 3 hours long, with mandatory pit stops for all teams. Competitors can compete either as a solo driver or as part of a team for that different challenge. All classes have compulsory refueling pit stops with 3-minute minimum stop times for equality. With the flexibility of the championship, teams can take part in a full season or just individual rounds.
Last year in the Tagawa Club Enduro Championship, it was Rob Baker and Cole Swift that won the championship in their area motorsport Seat in their Class A machine. They were only beaten once, and they'll be back this year running the number 1 car to try and defend the title. In Class B, it was Luke Handley that took the championship, and again he's back this weekend to try and defend his class title. And in Class C, it was the father and son duo of Darren and James Kell, and that's in Class C. Class C is a category for cars up to 180 brake horsepower, where we see cars like the Honda Civic and the BMW 330 and the Mazda MX-5. One driver joining the championship this year is Jonathan Packer in his Honda Civic, and he's going to be one to watch after taking the overall victory in road sports at the end of last year in a very wet race. Class B is for cars up to 240 brake horsepower per tonne, and the cars that we see in this are Honda Civics, Volkswagen Golf, for example, they're the front-wheel drive cars, and we get the BMW E36, for example, are rear-wheel drive cars, and the Lotus Elise. And one driver using the Lotus Elise this weekend is William Stacey, and we caught up with him earlier. With Will Stacey, first round of the Club Enduro Championship. Will, how are you looking forward to a full season?
Yeah, we're thinking of doing most of the season. Be a good year. It's good to get back out again because we obviously missed it last year pretty much. So looking forward to most of the season.
And you're out in Class B, which is the middle class, so how do you think that's going to run in the races?
Yeah, I think we'll be in a good place in the class, hopefully. Should be looking at near the front of the class. We might be getting in with a few of the Class A cars as well. It'll be interesting to see. I think the car will suit it quite well here because it's quite an agile car. Yeah, we'll be a good place in the class, definitely.
And tell us about the car you're driving.
It's a Lotus Elise K-Series. I think the car's an S2 shell, but it's a K-Series engine. So it's quite light, but yeah, it's more light and less powerful compared to some of the other cars. It'll be a bit heavier, more powerful. But I think it'll suit here quite nicely. And
the power to weight ratio formula that the 750 Motor Club uses, do you like that? Because you can have very different cars in the same class with the same kind of speeds.
Yeah, it's good, so it suits it well, I think, because you'll get some other cars that are different, but you're similar sort of pace. Makes the racing more interesting, I guess, because you'll be quicker in different places. Maybe makes it easier to overtake sometimes.
And as you've come from a one-make formula before, this really, I guess, you learn how you have to race different cars.
Yeah, definitely, because it'll be less sprint racing, more endurance racing. You'll have to work out, sort of time yourself to overtake them, because they might be quicker down the straight, but you'll be quicker around the corners. Yeah, definitely.
And obviously being an endurance race, there'll be a pit stop, so therefore you have a team behind you as well.
Yeah, we've got 2 mechanics per car, I think, because you've got to do the whole sort of pulling up, stopping, refueling and everything. We haven't got to do a driver change, which always helps, because I'm doing a full stint, which might be quite hard actually. I'm sure I'll manage.
Will this be doing a 2-hour race, be the longest you've done in one drive before?
Yeah, pretty much. I know I've done some go-karting that's been like 3-hour stints, 2-hour stints, but in the car it will be, certainly. I think once you get to a certain point, you get to a certain point when you're a bit knackered and it all stays the same, it doesn't get any worse. I'm hoping.
Well, good luck this weekend and the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks.
The fastest cars in the Tiguan Club Enduro Championship are in Class A, and they offer cars up to 300 brake horsepower per tonne. The champions from last year, they bring their Seat Leon Euro Cups back. You also got real drive cars like BMWs, M3s and M2s as well. There are also Porsches in this category, as well as the BMW M4, which we will see driven by Stuart Hall this weekend, and we caught up about him and his pro driver status this year. With Stuart Hall ahead of the first round of Club Enduro. Stuart, obviously you've done lots of pro racing, therefore you've got a pro driver penalty, and that's going to make your race perhaps a bit more difficult?
Oh, we like a challenge. Yeah, you know, the rules are the rules, so we accept that. It's great to be here, driving with Peter in the M4. So yeah, we're up for a bit of a challenge. 30 seconds in and out, so it's probably going to be about a minute in total, I'd have thought. So got a lot of work to do, but it's a 2-hour race, so anything can happen. You just got to, you know, get on with it and drive as fast as we can.
Obviously, you're a former world champion and the front runner at Le Mans, so coming to a club racing scene, is that something you like to do?
I love racing, mate. You know, it's you know, whether it's driving at Le Mans or it's racing here or racing a lawnmower or racing a jet ski. You know, I love racing. So you know, grateful to be here. And yeah, we'll try and get the best result possible with Peter and everyone at Stanbridge Racing.
And we were talking earlier about this will be your first race on treaded tyres, so that's something you're going to have to get used to.
Yeah, in the dry anyway. In the wet,
yeah,
we run on treaded tyres, but yeah, in the dry, yeah. So yeah, no, it's a bit of a learning curve, but you know, I'm not the youngest chicken in the coop anymore, so I've got plenty of experience. So you know, it's just going to be a good bit of fun. Try and develop Peter as a driver. You know, we've got lots of exciting plans ahead of us, and this is just the start. So, you know, really looking forward to, actually will be my first race of 2021 actually. So, you know, looking forward to it.
You're talking about the coaching role, that's such an important part now of sports car racing, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of pro-am pairings. You know, that's really the backbone of sports car racing, and you know, throughout my career, I've done an awful lot of pro-am stuff. You know, I love driving, but it's also very rewarding when you coach someone and you build a relationship with them and you develop them as a driver, and then eventually, you know, the cream on the cake is, you know, standing on the podium with them at the end of a race, and that's the plan this year. We've got a lot of work to do, but Peter's been going really well so far. So, yeah, that's the plan. So we'll see.
And you talked earlier about your experience in this type of racing, and that's going to really cut and pay. It's a massive grid, 50 cars here. Lap traffic's going to be all about that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm used to traffic. You know, it's the exciting thing about endurance and multi-class racing is the traffic, and you know, developing a skill or you know, of getting through the traffic and managing it correctly and trying to do it as safely as possible, but trying to be as quick as possible. You know, it makes the racing very exciting indeed. So. Yeah, we've got 2 hours of that, lots of different cars. Hopefully we're going to be at the front, so won't be able to looking in the mirrors too much, but yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Welcome to Donington Park, a beautiful circuit situated in the heart of the UK. 2.4 miles long on the GP layout, 11 corners. Let's see what it's like as we go on board for a lap around this circuit. We start the lap off with Redgate, a very inviting corner but surprisingly tight on entry. You want to get the car over to the left-hand side as soon as possible, brake nice and hard down into second gear, clip an early apex and gently feed in that power as you now head down the hill and towards Sector 2. We start Sector 2 with Craner curves and the old hairpin, an incredibly fast section of track where if you get it wrong can cause massive consequences, but if you get it right you can gain massive amounts of time. You want to hold as much momentum as you can, as a good exit is key as you exit up the hill. We then head into the uphill right-hander of McLean's. A very tricky corner, but once again, if you get it right, you can gain a huge amount of time. Bring the car over to the left, clip a late apex, and feed on that power nice and early up the hill. Up next is Coppice, a blind right-hander, but again a very fast corner. Crucial to get a key exit out of here as you gain as much momentum as you can down the next straight. Clipping that apex, bring the car back over to the right-hand side to clip the second apex, and on that power nice and early. We then start sector 3 through the Fogarty S's. A very fast chicane through this one. Again, bring the car over to the right-hand side, nice and early on the brakes, down to third gear, clipping both the apexes, gaining as much momentum as you can as you head into the next section, into the Melbourne hairpin. We start the final sector going into the Melbourne hairpin. Very easy to outbrake yourself, but a great opportunity for a decent overtake. Watch out for anyone trying to get that slingshot move on you as you exit out of the corner, back up the hill. We then head into the final corner of Goddard's, a very tricky left-hand hairpin, slightly off camber and downhill through this one. You want to clip the apex roughly in the middle and using as much of that exit track as possible to gain a good momentum down the start-finish straights. We cross the line to finish the lap here at Donington Park.
So we've learnt about the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit, we've learnt all about the Tagawa Club Enduro Championship. We now can look forward to the opening round of the 2021 season with this massive 49 car grid. It's on alphalive just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, so join us then.